Hey docs, hope you're super well. I'm just about to jump on the webinar with close to 400 docs. Have a look. 397 docs registered for my webinar tonight about how to grow through the challenges of coronavirus. I hope that you're joining me. I hope you enjoy this replay. See you soon.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So let me know, attendees right now. Please let me know in the chat, where are you joining me from, and we can get going straight away. And we got some cool stuff to teach you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I just want to get this up. Oh wow, we got loads. So we had over 400. So we had 408 doctors on the call or register right now. My maximum for this webinar was 500. We got over 200 on the call right now. Keith, good to see you. Kerry, good to see you. But I really appreciate. I just first and foremost want to say thank you so much for jumping on the call. Just type in the chat. I've got a rule when I do a webinar. If you've ever done a webinar before, you'll be able to know that a webinar is it's a lonely place sometimes. You know, the other side of the screen by yourself. So it's always nice to know who's on the call and where you're from. So before I get going on the rule, everyone please just type in the chat and just quickly tell me where tell me where the practice is, where you practice in the world. That's all. Where you're joining me from. London, good job. I'll give you 100% tonight. I promise you. I'm in the game. I've got 8 practices. I'm going to tell you exactly what we're doing. But in the chat, if you just tell me where you guys are joining me from. Let me just get my webcam so you guys can all see me. Okay, great. Can you all see me? Cool. So you all see me. It's now 8:30 in the evening here in the United Kingdom. Nick, good to see you. I'm just going to wait a few minutes so we can get as many people on the call as possible. Let's have a look. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Please make sure you type in the chat right now where you're joining me from. I can't quite see. There we go. Now I can see where you're coming from. Okay, Andrew, good to see you. So we have Bury, Norwich, Johannesburg, amazing, California, Ibiza. Stop rubbing it in. Good weather. Barcelona, Sheffield, Amsterdam, Italy. Very nice, Roberto. Barcelona. Diego, good to see you. Dimitri, good to see you. Roberts, good job. Good to see you. Dr. Fab, good to see you from beautiful Texas. Dr. Fab, good to see you. Johnny, where you guys joining me from? We're joining from Bristol. Rose, good to see you. Missouri, Brighton. Rebecca, good to see you. Where else? Got lots of Spanish docs. Wisconsin, good to see you, Dr. Tom. Darren, good to see you in Dublin. See you. We have Bournemouth. We have Johannesburg. We have Norway. Heidi, good to see you, Heidi. See you from Norway. We have Diana from Romania. We have Javier from Spain. Kevin from Spain. Mike, hi, Michael Lucas from Kent. We got Brian, Dr. Brian from Charlotte. We've got from Dallas, Dr. Fab, East Grinstead. We have Wales. We have Johannesburg again. Steph, good to see you. Essex, Oxford, Portugal, Barcelona, Belfast, Ibiza. Good to see you. Sean from Ohio. Zabi from Spain. Kaylee from South Africa. Harley from Reading. Hey, Harley, good to see you. We have Mark from Perth. We have Nicola from Cork, beautiful Cork. Actually, Nicola was supposed to be in Cork tomorrow. No, sorry, last week Thursday, but we had to cancel because of flights. Neil, good to see you. France, Sebastian from France. Okay, good. Listen, I can't even go through all this. It's huge, but it's great. Sharik from Dubai. Fantastic. We had someone else from Malaysia. It's 4 in the morning in Malaysia there on the call. So amazing to have you on the call. Listen, first of all, I really appreciate you guys being on this call. I'm going to do everything in my power to help you tonight. I'm going to do everything in my power to just tell you exactly what we're doing. These are very unprecedented times to be running practices in. Just so you know, I have 8 practices. I've got 100 staff members or 100 team members in some way, shape, or form. So I've got to think about wages. I've got to think about rental. I have to pay $500,000, at least $500,000 in rent dollars. That is, so probably like I don't know, £400,000 worth of rent every single year. And one of my greatest mentors taught me that you should always be taught, where possible, by someone with risk. And the person with the most risk wins, by the way. So wherever possible, be taught by the person with risk. Because what they're teaching you comes from a place of, if they can't make it work with the risk and the overhead, they got a business. So I just want you guys first and foremost to know is I'm not just a coach or mentor. I do run an inner circle group or a large mastermind group and all those, but like I'm just with you guys here. I'm in the trenches with you. I've got staff to pay, I've got overheads to cover, and I've got the same challenges that you're going through now. So I'm just going to tell you exactly what we're doing in our practices, and hopefully it's helpful. So I will ask you to respond quite a bit through the webinar. If you've ever taught a webinar before, it's a lonely place here. I don't know what's happening that side of the screen. I'm by myself speaking. So if you just give me on the dashboard, you just give me a hand up if you're with me so far and you're ready to learn something. Just give me a hand up on the dashboard so I can see. Brian, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anna, thank you, Alessandro, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that, and we're almost at capacity on this call. So I just want to make sure I gave everyone a little bit of time to get on the call. Okay. Apparently, someone just told me that our connection's a little bit choppy. So if I miss something, I'm going to get my team to message me. If it's a little bit choppy, I might drop the camera so that we have so you guys can all see everything better. But what I'm going to ask the team to do is just message me, guys. My team, just message me if it's really bad, any reception, then I'll drop the camera and I'll just teach. But let's get going straight away. Let's get going. Let's see if I can do this for you guys. Main screen. Okay, awesome. You guys should. Yeah, there we go. You can see that. And then I believe let's put my webinar that off. Perfect. Cool. So you should be able to see that. Now you should be able to. Okay, fantastic. Cool. Let's get going. I want to try put my camera on at the same time because I just teach better with it on. Can somebody let me know? Can you see the screen that I'm sharing as well as me? Can someone let me know that? Al, if you just let me know that. Can you see? Okay, awesome. You guys can see me and you can see the screen. I prefer to teach like that. So let's get going. We have over 300 docs on the call right now. So let's get going. First of all, guys, let me give you context. It doesn't matter where you're practicing in the world. You're all at different phases. So it's quite difficult to give advice right now, but I'm going to give you phases that I believe that's going to be beneficial for you to keep the ship floating, and not only to keep the ship floating, to get through it. I will start with the context, and I've just had a call with my inner circle group and my mastermind group. There was a gentleman that wrote a book called The Crash Course. The Crash Course. I forget what his name now. And he said the single biggest asset you can have in a crisis. He wrote a book about surviving crises. Don't ask me why I've read it, but I've read it. And he said that the single biggest asset you can have during a crisis is your community. So before I continue, one of my greatest mentors is a Rich Dad Advisor, Robert Kiyosaki's group, Mr. Blair Singer, and he always talks about, environment is stronger than willpower. So the first thing I want to tell you all in this webinar is that I know you've come in this webinar for some strategies, and I'm going to give them to you. But the two biggest things that I worry about for most businesses in this phase is going into retraction mode. You want to make sure that you stay in abundance mode wherever you can at the moment, because those are the businesses that are going to flourish. I'll be honest with you guys. I always tell everyone, a coach without a coach is not a coach. I have multiple coaches. mentors, even on this call, and Dr. Fab Mancini, and I've got other coaches, and I've doubled up on just to give you an example, I work with a lady, her name is Jane. She's the same person that works directly with Robert Kiyosaki. And I have booked, I normally don't book a weekly call with her. Normally it'll be like once every 2 months, but I've doubled down on that. I need the call every single week, because here's what's going to happen. In the world, when there's fear, most people retract. The abundant will stay open now. The abundant will still invest in marketing. The abundant will still hire. But most people are retracting, getting rid of stuff. I'm doubling up on certain stuff. That's where you're going to come out of this stronger. So a couple of things I want to point out. One is your community, your environment is stronger than willpower. Right now, who you choose to stick around is going to be determined, the single biggest determinant of whether your mindset changes or you get sucked up into the fear. Number two is absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, you want to be doubling down on certain aspects within the business right now, but I'm going to go through right now, but specifically working on your mind. So number one, community. Number two, your mind, because you have something called the voice, your chatter, which is fear-based chatter. The mind is not the happiness director. It's looking for fear and concern and worry. It very much resembles an overprotective mom. And right now, it's going to be an overdrive. Why? Because of context. It's not about the content, it's about the context. Environment is stronger than willpower. Right now, the surroundings around us are that of fear and retraction, and you want to get yourself around a community that's still looking at abundance. So I've just done a call with my whole mastermind, and we're planning. We've got growth plans today. In my business, we booked 50 reactivation patients today, while the rest of the world, 4 people on the phones today, while the rest of the world is like not doing that. I booked 50 new patients today, just today. So I'm going to teach you that strategy in a moment. So everybody, are you with me so far? Give me a little hand up. You with me? Alex, good to see you. Come on, guys. I want to see, where are you? I don't move on until I get some feedback. Other side of this call. Thank you. It's always a lonely place. I promise. If you run webinars, you'll understand. It's always a lonely place. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. I can't see all of you, but I really appreciate it. Sherry, thank you. I really appreciate the interaction. So let's get going. Okay, cool. I've really kind of addressed this. I'm in the game right now, everyone. I've got 8 practices. We turn over, just so those of you who don't know me, I have 8 practices. We turn over in the vicinity of $7 million every single year. We've got 100 team members. I've been running practices for 10 years now. Officially running practices for 10 years now. We're the largest provider of chiropractic in Europe. We have a large mastermind group. We also do some done-for-you marketing, and I teach a program called New Patient Avalanche, which now, I say to all my students right now, they're in the prime position because they are well prepared for what is going to be an opportunity for hockey stick growth after this. So that's just a little bit about me. I've got 2 beautiful kids. I've just had a young baby boy. His name is Benjamin, and my daughter is 2.5, going on 3. And a beautiful wife. I'm also one of 5 first-generation chiropractors. I'm a chiropractor. My wife's a chiropractor. My brother's a chiropractor. His wife's a chiropractor, and my sister-in-law is a chiropractor. My other sister-in-law runs 4 of my practices, and my mother-in-law ran our accounts. So we're all in. I'm all in this chiropractic thing. Every single, the blessing that this profession has given me is beyond imaginable. I never would have thought that any profession could ever create so much abundance for my entire family as chiropractic has. So just so you know. And I'm going to start this webinar a little bit differently to what you may think. I always talk about this with my mastermind groups, is that the problem is never the problem. So a lot of you might be jumping this webinar right now for solutions to the problem, but the problem is never the problem. Meaning, we do have strategies right now, and we do need to pivot, and there are opportunities in front of us all, but the problem is not the problem. Like, it's not coronavirus that's the problem. The problem often is that we haven't got systems in place. We haven't got core values in place for our team. We haven't got marketing strategies. We haven't got CRM systems. We don't know how to do email marketing. We've never done it. We've never had to do marketing before. When it comes, we run a practice that's referral based, and we've never had to worry about this stuff. That's the problem, is not preparing. And I always say to everyone that most businesses act as if nothing ever is going to go wrong. And I don't want to be a pessimist, but it's not if, it's when you have challenges. Business is full of challenges, by the way. Anyone who says they haven't had challenges in business is not in business. And so it's full of challenges. So I kind of feel like I've been preparing for this the last 10 years. And chaos is often the universe's way of forcing change. So I'm going to say that again for everyone on this call. If you're sitting on this call right now and you know that, for instance, you haven't got a marketing system there's going to be a little bit more of a challenge going out of this, chaos is often a way for the universe to force change that was supposed to happen. And I've got my talking about your mindset. There is a couple of things that you're going to have to watch right now. You should all be waking up in the morning, and every single person should be doing a gratitude list in the morning, first thing in the morning. The next thing is, right now more than ever, the next thing in the evenings, you should absolutely be writing a list of wins before you go to bed. For most people on this call, that's going to be the hardest thing. In fact, I've got my inner circle group to write. We've got our wins, our homework on we've got over 150, just recently. We've got 47 docs all around the world doing my new patient avalanche program. We've just had 70 docs here in my mastermind room here. And we've got them doing a gratitude list or a what's good about coronavirus, what's good about the changes I have to make. How am I going to adapt my business appropriately right now? Focusing on what positive is going to come out of this, because if you use this positively, a lot of positive is going to come out of it. We don't want it, but you've got two choices. Actually, behind you, you can see it. There's something called being at cause and being at effect. Being at cause is that you are in control. So the analogy is tennis racket and tennis ball. Right? You're either a tennis racket or you're a tennis ball in life. You're either at effect, meaning that you are being hit around by circumstances and emotions, or you are the tennis racket, which means that you're at cause, you're in control, even of emotion. You control, being angry or being sad or being concerned is not the problem. It's just, are you in control of that? You're not the tennis ball, those emotions. So the problem is never the problem. If you're really freaking out right now, it's use it positively. Understand that the problem is not coronavirus. The problem is that maybe a preparation needs to happen, and from this, a lot of positive will happen. So I'm going to run through, because the problem is not the problem. I have 11 foundational business rules that I teach to all my inner circle members. I promise you, a lot of you will learn more from the next slide than the strategies about coronavirus. I really want you to make notes of the 11 things. I promise you, if everyone, especially my inner circle group, if those that have followed these 11 foundations are going to be sitting in a situation right now where they wouldn't have been as concerned. So I'm just going to run through them with you, because I truly believe this puts you in a position where you are in a better place. Number one, every single business practice owner should have 3 to 10 operational core values lived by all team members. In a book called Good to Great, they just analyzed the greatest things that best companies had, and they all had a set of core values. Core values are the thing that keep us together. They guide us in good times, but they hold the context together in bad times, critically in bad times. In bad times is when people have core values that they lean on the core values to get the most out of their team. So core values are very important. Number 2, thou shalt have weekly, quarterly, and annual team meetings. My first point tonight is you should all have had a team meeting with the team. First thing you have to do is have a team meeting with your team. Number 3 is thou shalt know your numbers, and you have a weekly scorecard with 3 to 10 key performance indicators. Number 4, thou shalt offer options to pay in advance. Now, it doesn't matter what the business is. You should have care plans or options to pay in advance. If you had been diligent with this, cash is king right now, and you would be sitting with cash reserves where you are okay right now. Number 5, thou shalt always pre-book all patients well in advance. A good friend of mine who practices down the road in London, every single one of his patients is booked for anywhere from 3 months to 12 months ahead of time. Now, let me ask you a question. Nobody in the practice pays for the visit. I'm not for that or against that. I'm not promoting either. I'm just saying that right now, with not one person in the entire practice paying per visit or booking one appointment at a time, he honestly, I spoke about it today. He's like, well, if we shop for 3 weeks, it doesn't really matter because everyone's booked for the whole year. You guys understand, yes? So if you take that with a pinch of salt and understand that if you implement that at 50% of what he's done, it would have made a big difference during this period. And I'm running through this in a moment. I am running through the systems of this in a moment. Number 6, thou shalt have multiple forms of predictable, well-tested new patient-generating avenues. Right now, more than ever, it was important for us to have multiple forms, because if you're heavily based on insurance, if you're heavily based on referrals, if you're heavily based on talks, if you've got one source that massively outweighs the other, it's the worst time to have that scenario. You want multiple forms of income as well, but multiple forms of well-tested new patient avenues. Number 7, thou shalt have follow-up. Biggest mistake small businesses make, 0 follow-up. We've all seen this statistic. It is proven statistic that most interactions, sales environment happens after anywhere from 7 to 15 contacts. Yet most of us make one phone call and stop. Yet most of us send one email and stop. Yet most of us have one, if you will, we have a system called our DNA list, our did not arrive list, or our NFA list, our no future appointment list. We also have a DNA NFA list. So did not arrive, but no future appointment, right? So even with those lists, you have a sequence. The big statistic, we know this for a fact, that most sales or interactions happen after anywhere from 7 to 15 interactions, yet most of us haven't planned past 1. Even if we have telephone calls happening, we stop at 1. So I'm going to run through that again with you. I'm going to run through that also with you in a moment. So please listen up. Number 9, thou shalt always have well thought out, planned, well scripted sales processes. Number 8. Number 9, thou shalt offer information first. So for those of you, this is information. For those of you, you're all in the information business. You think you're in a chiropractic business, even if you're a bricks and mortar business, every single one of you on this call is in the information business. And I would say that information has become it's so readily available. Here's the statistic. If you do not offer information in the form of a book, in the form of downloads on your website, in the form of cost inquiry, whatever it is, if you do not offer information, people will often need the information before they make the decision to use your service. And if you do offer it, they'll often skip straight to the product or service without consuming the content. So I teach this all on New Patient Avalanche, but just so you know, you should all be doing videos. You should all have a YouTube channel. You should all, now more than ever, what do you mean? I wish, my biggest regret is I didn't start aggressively doing videos and giving away lots of content for free 5 years ago. And it's the same in our practices. Right? Just to guys give you an example, our podcast on coronavirus has been listened to by 50,000 people already. It was only launched late last week. 50,000 people. Like, there's no monetary return on investment of that or anything, but straight away we become the social authority in our local areas. 50,000 listens to a podcast on coronavirus. You can go check it out. Within days, right? About giving hope. That's our job in the communities right now. Number 10, thou shalt endeavor to invest both time and money to continue to develop yourself and your team, now more than ever. Why? Because the rest of society is going to be retracting. I have doubled down on my coaching, on my mentoring. I have upped it. I have now more than ever, because context is stronger than content. Environment is stronger than willpower. Right now, we just like, even myself, you know, my wife and I never watch the news. All of a sudden, I'm watching the news because I'm waiting for, here in the United Kingdom, waiting for reports, etc. Like, stop it, like, turn it off. But even me, I need to find out stuff about what we're going to do with our practices and what grants we're going to get, and is there financial aid available for staff members, etc. So I find myself being caught in it, and it's devastating. Devastating. You've got to protect this mind. Weeds grow in the mind weeds grow in your garden out of neglect, not because you have to plant the weeds. The neglect we have right now is making sure, if you don't work on the mind, if you don't work on your coaches, if you don't read the books you need to read, you're going to have a tough time going forward. Number 11, thou should spend at least 60 minutes per day on marketing activities, now more than ever. So those are my 11 foundational rules of a business-focused practice, I'm a little bit different to other people, you know. I love business and I love chiropractic. These are things that make us a solid business, because I'm I'm a geek when it comes to business. And I wouldn't have built a business that turns over close to $7 million every single year if I didn't be a student of this stuff, right? So first of all, I want you to just quickly give me a hand up so far. Are you with me? Is this helpful? Are you learning something? Give me a hand up. Robert, give me a hand up. Give me a hand up. Give me on the dashboard this little hand up. I just want to see if you guys are with me. I don't teach. Samuel, good to see you, Samuel. Sadia, good to see you. Sarah, good to see you. So 300 docs on the call. So I won't be able to mention you all. Tom, good to see you. Give me a hand up. Are you with me? Are you with me? Cool. So next, here's when I say the problem is not the problem. Here's the problem. And the problem is we have these unprecedented times where no one knows what to do really, honestly. And the problem is that I was once taught this, and it is that the worst number in business is 1. So especially right now, the worst number in business is 1. Never has it been more important to rely too heavy, more dangerous to rely too heavily on one source of new patients or income stream. Income stream 2, by the way, and I get a bit of flack sometimes in certain circles for this. I have multiple income streams. I have passive income from property. I have an information business. I highly recommend. Dan Kennedy taught me this. He said, you've got, everyone's got a business and they've got an information business in them. Everyone on this call has a business and an information business in them because you're all teachers. The definition of a doctor is a teacher. You probably wouldn't have been doing what you're doing tonight if you weren't interested in helping people. And that's one thing I'll tell you. You've both all got businesses and you've got information businesses. But you should absolutely be looking for other forms of income as well as other sources of income streams within your practice. So the worst number in business is 1. The next thing I want to teach you guys about is even if you're not that good at one source of new patient acquisition, the worst thing that happens right now is you might say dinner with the docs are better for me, so I'm not going to do screenings. Or corporate talks, lunch and learns are better for me, so I'm not going to do emails. I want you please to understand that right now more than ever, it's not an or conversation, it's an and conversation. You cannot fall into the trap of going, I'm going to do that instead of that because that one's better. It's a false economy. Do they both make sense from a cost per lead, from generating new patients? Do they both make sense? So some of you have been interested in my teaching for a while. You will be familiar with this. Please, by the way, everyone on this call, I would ask you please to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I give free content away from that almost every second day at the moment, and we're going to be going to every day. So go to Rieder on YouTube and subscribe, and you'll learn some of these lessons, right? We'll just give it all away to you. So I'm going to break this down to immediate action plans and then the focuses for the 6 months. So immediate things that you can be doing. So all of you on the school are different phases. Some of you have already had to close your practices. Some of you right now are in a phase where the practices are still operational. I'm going to focus on that right now. Some of you passed this phase, but I am going to focus on the next phase for those of you who are sitting right now. Practices are closed in Spain specifically, places like that, or places in America, the United Kingdom, we're still up and running. But I'm going to focus on those 2 areas and how you can generate revenue or generate new patients, or what you should be focusing on if you can't practice, which is cool, but you could be focusing on a lot of other things, or what you're going to do is prior to closing, because most of us are probably going to have to close for a week or 2. That's just part of it. Just accept it. Make sure you're the tennis racket, not the tennis ball. So immediate action. Number 1, it's never been more important for you to step up as a leader and have a meeting with your team, or meetings, continuous meetings, to create a leader's responsibility to create a safe environment. And in the midst of very, if you will, unsafe territory, your job as a leader to create a safe environment and with confidence, address the team. And by the way, confidence does not mean you have to know everything. It's the opposite in this time. What I mean by that is, I think the teams and the leadership and the companies, just to call a spade, there are going to be many, many, many businesses that go bankrupt now. Many, right? And I think the teams, especially those with big overheads, I mean, I've got 100 team members to pay, and I've got $500,000 worth of rent to pay every single year. So, but the teams that have the upfront, congruent, open conversations about where they're at and cash flow and things like that are going to win, because every problem can be solved as long as there's communication. So first of all, you don't have to have every single answer, but definitely get on board with having those upfront conversations with your teams as soon as possible. Hey, those of you that shy away from it, and if you will, don't want to bring it to the fore because you just want to be positive about that, There's a difference between being positive and also planning, not panicking. Because people more fear develops often. There's a saying. It says, whatever, I would write this down. Whatever isn't verbalized is dramatized. Please write that down. Whatever isn't verbalized is dramatized. So if you do not verbalize things with your team right now, it will be dramatized in their head, and more fear is created. It's the opposite of what you think. Next, your personal mindset. Work on your mindset, making sure you're in the right environment. It's never been more important to be the supportive coaching groups that you need, whatever that's right for you. It's never been more important to be around people who have got abundant mindsets. Never been more important. And number 3, plan, not panic. You should absolutely be planning. You should absolutely be planning. I've seen some threads where it's like, no, business as usual. No. It's not business as usual. I want to be clear. There's no comparison to this and 2008. The stock market, by the way, this is different thing altogether. 2008, financial crisis caused by poor economic times. This is different. Those of you in first world countries, our banks have probably never had as much money as they've got right now. It's different. They've just flooded the United Kingdom with $300 billion. Like there's grants going out for $25,000, $10,000. No one even has to pay it back. So we live in blessed times from that perspective, but we are certainly not business as usual. And I've seen a few things like, no, business is not usual. It is definitely different times, which means you have to pivot appropriately. You have to pivot appropriately. And will things get back to normal? Of course, things will get back to normal. Oh my word! For some people on this call, you're gonna go into. By the way, we had close to a record week last week. This week we've dropped quite a bit of today, but we started the week off. We started the week off with the same amount of people in the diary as last week. 4 weeks from now, we're measuring that statistic, and we continue measuring that statistic. I think we're probably at about 30-40% 4 weeks from now across 3,000 visits, right? Still in the diary. So we are measuring and monitoring, and we are planning. I'm getting updates on our future visit stat, which is something I want to introduce you to all right now. Please write that down. Future visit stat. It's probably never going to be more important as it is right now. I am getting updates on our future visit stats twice a day. Twice a day. So phase 1, some of you are past this already, by the way. Phase 1 is the only thing, those of you who still got doors open right now and still practicing, your only focus point, the absolute essential focus point for you right now is simply to keep momentum. So it's not the week that you close. Those of you in Spain, it's not the period that you closed that's going to kill businesses. It is coming back and almost having to start like a new business. So there are ways to make yourself to prevent that. I'm going to go through that now. So phase 1 is number 1 about having the team meetings with the team and being proactive. I haven't spoken about this too much, but there's stuff. So you guys might want to use some of these things. It's gone down really well. We are providing every single patient that comes into practice with free vitamin C. We have got information pamphlets out about the myths and benefits of getting, whether it's adjusted or benefits of looking after your immune system, benefits of vitamin C right now. We've got free vitamin C for everyone when they come in. We've addressed the process. We have sent emails to everyone. We're doing videos to everyone. So we've been proactive. That's also part of phase 1. But from a marketing perspective, all I want you to be focused on, those of you that are already shut, I'm going to give you some advice for this now. But those of you that are not shut yet, I want you to assume as if you have to shut for 2 weeks. So you have to, all you want to be thinking about right now is how do you decrease this is what's going to happen in society. When people get out of their routines, it's going to be hard to get them back into the routines. So it's never been more important for you to do point number 2. And that is actively measure your future visit stat. So what's a future visit stat? I think you made this stat up. In my business, I genuinely haven't heard this stat before. And if someone is, I'm sure someone else might have been doing it before someone has a go at me. I had not seen that anywhere. But a future visit stat is something I measure in my practices. Is I always look at it. You can choose whatever number you want, but 6 weeks from now, or 4 weeks from now, or 8 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now. It doesn't matter what it is. How many people do you have met? So I want you to do the stat. You're still operational right now. Do the stat. 4 weeks from now, how many people are booked in the diary? This is important. How many people are booked in the diary 4 weeks from now? Now, I'm gonna try to separate this from normal times and this time. Normal times, I'm measuring that either way. So we have goals and targets for our entire practice, or our practices and my inner circle members to be aiming for. For instance, right now, and the main reason for it is the main reason that it's important now. I always say to all my docs that there's something about coming from a place of lack. Please write this down. Necessity drives away opportunity. When you sit down with a new patient, when you sit down on a report of findings and you need the conversion, they can feel it. So you want to be coming from a place of abundance. Now, when you look at your diary, and please imagine this, imagine right now that your record week that you've ever done, imagine 4 weeks from now, you had about 80% of that in the diary already booked 4 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now. What does that do to you from abundance perspective? And it's hard to fake abundance. So it's very hard to be open-minded and abundant-minded when you say in debt, or your bad debt, if that is, or you have not got money to pay your rent. It's very hard to still be abundant. So it's hard to fake it. If there's ever one way to fake it, is to aggressively look at your future visit stat. There's a whole protocol for this. There's whole systems for this. I am almost breaking a cardinal rule when it comes to teaching and teaching too much of this, but I'd rather teach too much. In the beginning, they say so often, if you've never done my stuff before, the fear I have is you're gonna get a bit lost, but I'd rather over deliver right now in the times that we're in. So you should absolutely be looking at your future visit stat right now and measuring it on a daily basis. Now, the brief for the team is what I put in front of you, by the way. This is the meeting I had with my team. Guys, right now, we've never had more importance to future book. Sometimes we just get a bit lazy, but if you've got a schedule in place and you want to see someone for 3 months or 2 months or 1 month or 1 week, I don't care what it is, and that recommendation needs to be booked ahead of time. It's never been more important to have them booked ahead of time. So if you're still operational right now at the front desk, have the team meeting with everyone and make sure we're booking every person where appropriate for your practice for as many appointments ahead of time. Because here's what we want to be able to do. I want you to plan this if you are going to close. You want to be able to just go, Mary, no problem. We're all shut, or we have to close this week, or if someone phones and has to self-isolate, I can't come to the practice today because I have to self-isolate. You want to be able to say this magic word. No problem. We've got you in the diary 6 weeks from now. We'll see you then. That's the magic. I'm not having to reactivate anyone. I'm not having to re-sell anyone. You want to be able to say that line. No problem. You're on the diary 6 weeks from now. Let's get through this process. I'll see you then. That's the businesses that are actively looking at ways that they decrease loss of momentum are going to win now. So, are you with me so far? Somebody give me a high five or five. Put your hand up. Let's see. Sharik, thank you. Sean Kappa, thank you. Sherry, good, thank you. Robert, thank you. Keith, thank you. Kaylee, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. James, thank you. James Faulkner, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, phase 1, future visit stat. Phase 2 is those of you who don't have care plans, may not be applicable for you. That's cool, but appropriately respond, because right now cash is king. So you want, wherever you're able to, if you're really selling care plans, we have appropriately responded and made just an extra 10, right now we're offering extra 10% off some of our care plans, right? Or some of your options to pay ahead of time. And that's off the block of care, whatever. Some of you may not go there yet, but it's appropriate. And there's a concept in marketing called correct message to market match, meaning that there's an appropriate time to do something like that. And it's not a knee-jerk reaction. It's appropriate. It comes from a place of service to go. So like we have, for instance, in my inner circle group, the appropriate action for me was to double up our support. So now we have 2 calls a week. One of my tech teams, helping people implement these marketing strategies, helping them put it in their systems, helping them with support and Infusionsoft, helping them. We've doubled up on that. So we've got at least 4 hours, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours of direct support a week for my mastermind group at the moment, because they need it. They've also got support to some HR people that we're helping them with. They also got support to my accounts team, etc. That was an appropriate reaction for what's happening. So I do want to stress this again. It's not business as usual. Don't just do the normal thing. It is very unusual times. So we've responded that way. Number 3, I've empowered my team to have something called a cancellation offer. So again, back to point number one, my only job is to decrease loss of momentum. My only job is to decrease loss of momentum. So you need to have a plan in place. This is the worst thing that happened. Here's statistically the truth, guys. To get someone on the phone, statistically, up to 15, to actually, anyway, from the statistics are 7 to 15 times to actually contact someone, to grab someone on the phone. Now, if you're like me, if I have a no number on my phone, I don't answer it. So the worst thing can happen right now is, it may seem like more work to do this, but it's way less. Because if they've gone, it's very hard to get people back into momentum at the moment, especially with all the fear going out, because they're maybe not as enlightened as like us who get to hang around lots of other people. Right now, a lot of people are watching their televisions, etc. So you want to be in a position where you keep them in the diary at all costs. And what I mean by that is I absolutely have empowered my team. And I'm in the game, right? I've got to make this work. And I promise you I'll come out of this, and I promise you we'll look back at this, and I promise you'll look at some of the strategies I'm introducing you to right now and go, wow, that was rock star. And that is that if someone phones and cancels, and without us having to reschedule and wants to cancel all and take themselves out of the diary, we are absolutely empowering our team to offer some type of free catch-up session, whether it's something in the future. And again, I'm going to go down to the next points at the moment that I think are going to make teams win. It's got to do with reverse customer loyalty, and it's got to do with GAS, giving you know what S stands for. I don't want to cuss, but you know what S stands for. You've got a GAS right now. You have to appropriately respond, and please write this down, reverse customer loyalty. That's the teams that do that right now are going to win. So when someone cancels or phones to cancel out of fear, my whole team is empowered to say, awesome, we totally understand. We want to make sure everyone's safe right now. And if that's the most appropriate action for you, we totally respect that. Or they may have to self-isolate. But what Dr. Ryan's doing for anyone in your position is your next appointment is on us for a checkup. And we're going to book that. What we're doing here, write this down. What we're doing here is we're doing those in 4 weeks' time or 6 weeks' time, whatever you choose. And we're getting those booked in now. How's that sound? And they will do that. By the way, give me a hand up. Is this helpful so far? Is this helpful? Thank you. It's Sasso. Good to see you. So that is absolutely what we're doing. And then finally, in phase one, is we are right now doing reactivation campaigns. And you might be thinking, that's a funny time to be a reactivation campaign. But I'm going to run through it. I'm not going to teach it right now. I'm going to run through it in a moment. I'm going to teach it in this webinar, but I just want to give you a little more context. So that's phase one. That's our phase one, essentially. And then proactive stuff in the practice, and that. Some of you passed phase one already where you don't have people in the front door. I'm going to address that now, that it's relevant for you, that reactivation campaign. Okay, so I truly believe that going forward, we are moving into a phase of getting more, of trying to get more from less, meaning the companies and teams that continuously, and this is relevant, I always say this, marketing will cover will solve any problem in a business short term. If you have, I've got an inner circle member, one of my new patient avalanche students, who we just give on new patient avalanche, we just give everyone a template to follow for their first Facebook ad. We just give them what they call a swipe and deploy file, and he just copied it word for word. He's in Malaysia, and this is a true story. He got 350 new patient applications from his first Facebook ad. He's seeing 12 new patients a day, and he had never from his first Facebook ad. Right? I want to say results not typical, results not typical, but 350 new patients, 12 new patients a day. I can tell you right now, from a cash flow perspective, there's loads of other strategies like that. Marketing covers up any mistakes short term. But if you're not working on your retention, etc., it's going to be a tough old game, this chiropractic business. And there's a story that I want to tell you about now, and that is, while you are thinking, some of your new patient avenues are going to dry up now. For instance, same for me, right? This is why it's important to have many. I do sometimes up to 10 lunch and learns a week, sometimes, but minimum of 3. Right? When I say my practices, my team, and I do some. but my practice team. I truly believe I've probably been responsible for more lunch and learns or corporate talks than any chiropractor on the planet. I truly believe that, only because of our scale, right? They're literally, we do 10 a week sometimes. So that is going to dry up for me if companies aren't operational, right? Dinner with the docs. We do dinner with the docs, if you will, but without the dinner, we drive people from Facebook into our practices, and we teach people how to do this. And we have inner circle members that generate, and ourselves, that generate anywhere from 10 to 30 new patients in 45 minutes from people coming from Facebook and social media strategies into the practice. That's going to dry up for me because we can't meet, right? So here's what I want you to understand, is that most businesses, specifically small businesses, forget about the asset right under their nose, and that is your client base. That is your list. It's going to become more important than ever to understand that we're going to have to double down on our existing customer list, inactive and active. And there's a story of a dentist in America who made $1 million a year. He was a traveling dentist. He had a mobile dentist. And all he did was drive into town, and you would phone all the dentists in the area, and he'd say there was different times, right, where you could probably share these things. But he said, I want all the files that you no longer want. All the patients that haven't, anything you're prepared to give me. All the files of anyone that hasn't seen you for, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, whatever you're happy with, I'll just get rid of them for you if you want. And a lot of the times he was met by a dentist that would be like, no, please, thank you so much. And all he did was do some of the strategies I'm going to teach you tonight, and he made $1 million a year from other people's junk. They didn't want it. So right now, I want to ask you a question. What absolute amazing assets do you have right now under your nose? How many people on your patient base? And that goes to next phase. And also, you're going to have to be very focused on follow-up and nurturing patients at the moment. So here's the 6-month focus, which will be relevant for a lot of you. Number 1, reverse customer loyalty. Please write that down. The businesses that have shown reverse customer loyalty is going to win now. And what I mean by that is everyone expects customer loyalty, but when stuff happens, the businesses that are focused, the practices that are focused right now, what's the reverse customer loyalty? So for us, for a certain segment, this is for somebody that's going to sound like, wow, that's crazy. For a certain segment of our patient base, we have literally credited their accounts. That's the reactivation strategy. We've credited their accounts and said, when you're ready and when you need care, come and use it. We're ready for you. We want to thank you for your loyalty and your support, right? And then you can credit, it might just be $50, it might be $100, it might be something that's on their account. Like, hey, next 3 months, whenever you're ready, we want to say thank you so much. We believe that this is so essentially we're donating up to £400,000 worth of care to our local communities, but specifically to a segment of the list that have supported us. So that's just one strategy, but there's a lot. I hope, but trust me, that's gold, by the way. Some of you that implement just that, you'll come out of this with records. Number 2, fully understanding 80-20 rule in your practice. So those of you who don't know what Pareto's principle is, that is 80-20 rule. It is that 80% of your turnover is coming from just 20% or of your patient base. So 20% of your patient base is responsible for 80% of your turnover. That is, I teach that, and people talk about that, but they don't actually understand it. Meaning, this is crucially where you're going to win if you do this. If you have to focus on, just because of scale and because of actual what can you do now for your patient base, if all you did was identify the top 20% of people who come the most, spent the most loyal, whatever you want to call it, your top 20%, if all you did while you were closed or in this period was double down on that segment, you will come out of this not only well, you'll have records. Hester, good to see you. So that's what you want to be focusing on now. And you should be absolutely, especially those who are really close, you should be mining data right now and doubling down on focusing on your top 20% spends, inactive and active. I'm going to teach you more of this in a moment. And you need to be giving as you know what that is. So why is that so important? Is because if you look at the trends of marketing, the business trends are often formed by big events. For instance, how the US election was won. You know, if you look at how Obama won the US election, it was a lot to do with bringing the conversation to the community. If you look at how people think that Trump won over social media and things, no, he didn't. Maybe his means of getting the data were questionable, but Trump won by having more data on than anyone in the planet, right? So Trump won by having more data points. How he got those might have been questionable, by the way, but he won by having more data than anyone on the planet. So he was able to, very important for this webinar, very important for the phase you're going into, have a correct, specific message to market match, meaning he can speak directly to the person who has done a specific thing. And they have incredible algorithms that did it and stuff like that. But I'm going to bring that down to your practice. Right now, more than ever, it's going to be important to find out who is inactive and has spent more than a certain amount of people, who has referred you people, who's active and spent the most, what's your top 1% ever. What are you doing for those people? So doubling down on those efforts and giving those people specific message to market matches is going to be very important. I'm going to explain that a little bit more in a moment. So all I'm saying to everyone on this call is, I'm not saying look, we are very good at generating new patients in my practices and teaching people to do it. But I do think that we do this so badly in our businesses, is that we forget about our patient list. And more than ever, those people are closed already. It's time to mine and the gold in there now. Make lists. I mean, most of you just after this conversation should be looking at least this list. Everyone that's not under care anymore, for instance, hasn't been coming for 3 months, who's spent over, let's say, $2,000, $1,000, $5,000. You should have all those lists, by the way. How many people in your database right now who's inactive who spent more than 5,000? How many in your list who's inactive who spent more than 2,000? How many are inactive who spent more than 1,000? You should be mining those, getting those lists ready right now. Getting in spreadsheets, you should be getting the email list ready. The email, the postal, the telephone number, because I'm going to teach you what to do with that in a moment. So far, are you learning something? Give me a hand up. I'm not moving on until I get some response. Inka, Itsaso, Jillian, good to see you. Gabriel, thank you. Francis, thank you. Guys, honestly, are you learning something so far? I really hope so. Listen, this is what I'm doing in my business right now. So I'm in the game with you. Theory I'm teaching, this is what I'm doing. So I just want to quickly tell you, focus on, so immediately you should be mining data, immediately you should be looking at your lists and getting that ready, right? You should also, these are the following lists that my team are keeping. We're also keeping a list right now for anyone that canceled and rebooked. I want to know that. I also want to know anyone that canceled that hasn't rebooked. I want that list, and I'm just getting ready. I'm getting ready. Sometimes I don't even know what to do with it. But we implemented a marketing strategy on Monday, and within 15 minutes of sending an email, we had 200 people that said they would like to book an appointment. Within 15 minutes. Now I'm still getting hold of them. I've got hold of 50 of them, and they're booked. So we're generating new customers just because I want to keep momentum up. Okay, so here's what I want to quickly teach you. I have to teach you some fundamentals of marketing. I know I'm breaking some rules here, like by teaching a lot. And like sometimes I say, like when you do a webinar, you should only teach 3 points, etc. I'm going to do as much as, because I might not see you guys again, and I truly want to make sure this is truly everything I can give you in the short space of time I got with you. I'm going to try to teach you some marketing fundamentals and then how that applies. So far, you should have some strategies already, right? But I'm going to teach you our core strategy in a moment. So number one, message to market. These are the 3 M's of marketing. Here we go. Have a look at this. And the reason I'm teaching you this right now is because you should run every campaign through this filter. Number one, market. Who are we talking about? So for instance, let me give you an example. A birthday, you should all be sending birthday cards to your patients, right? If you're not, you're done. You've already made thousands of pounds from this webinar. A birthday card is just not a birthday card, though. There's different messages or media to different birthday cards. Let me explain. Just to give you an example, a birthday card is not a birthday card, is not a birthday card. A birthday card to an inactive patient who has spent £2,000 with you is a different message. That is a thank you so much and a different offer. Thank you so much for your loyalty. Thank you for always supporting us. We miss you in the practice. handwritten, and not only that, watch, I hope you can see my mouse. That's the market, maybe high spend, inactive, birthday. And the message is what I've just said, and the media might change. For instance, if someone had just downloaded something on your website, forgive me, I've been speaking a lot. So if someone's just downloaded something on your website, you may not send them something in the post. You may. If someone's been a patient with you for 10 years, spent thousands of dollars with you, their whole family's under care, they haven't been in for 6 months, it's totally appropriate to send them a big gift pack in the post. That's the media changing for appropriate segments. Are you with me so far? Give me a hand up. Are you with me? Are you with me? Eric, you with me? Elizabeth, you with me? Chris, you with me? Brian, you with me? It's totally appropriate. Let me say that again. It's totally appropriate. I'm going to give you the full, in a moment, those that stay on, I'm also going to give you a swap file that you guys can use. It's free. But those, I'm just going to show you our whole strategy in a moment. But you understand, I have to show you this first, is that you can absolutely, it's not just a birthday, and this is where people don't understand. I want you to take all your marketing that you're going to do over the next few weeks. Those of you in Spain, close right now. You should be looking at those lists. Number one list, inactive, who hasn't been in for 6 months, who's spent above a certain amount, or who's had above a certain amount of adjustments, and you should be running the filter of this. What are we going to, how do we talk to that segment as opposed to a segment that has never been into the practice or that we want to reactivate? And what media we're going to spend? It's totally appropriate to send something in the post that costs, by the way, and maybe even something significant for people who spend over $10,000, $5,000, $3,000, because they deserve it. You guys understand? Yes? Like someone that has spent, this is why I'm talking about reverse customer loyalty. The teams that do, and the businesses right now that don't shrink, that keep investing in specifically a segment of their database are going to win. Trust me on this. And you're going to remember this webinar. I'm going to look back and go, thank goodness I sent those letters to those 5,000 people together with something cool in the post. Thank goodness, because they deserved it, first of all. So they gave you the loyalty. It's time to give it back. It's always, you should be doing it anyway. But I'm saying specifically for that segment. Okay, you all with me? Good. Next, let's go back. That's the first part of the campaign, to understand. Next is list segmentation. So I once read a statistic that 58% of all return on investment that comes from email marketing specifically comes from correct segmentation. So what people do wrong with email campaigns is they must send an email to the entire database, and then they get hold of me and they say, oh, Ryan, it didn't work. And I'll say, yeah, you sent an email. Again, remember the message is different to the different segments in your database. So you just send one email with one message to 15 different segments. One segment has never seen you before. Another segment has been with you for 5 years. Another segment is currently your patient and been adjusted for 10 years. Is completely different conversation you're going to have with that person as opposed to someone who's only been to see you for two, 3 sessions. It's a completely different message. So list segmentation now, mining your data or coming out list is going to be more important than ever. Okay, this is just an example, guys. This is not a specific one, but it may be all inactives who have not been here for 3 months, going back a year or 2 years or 3 years, males and females. Maybe you're going to exclude under 25s, maybe, or for this segment, because it's a bit weird to send emails and texts to like 17-year-olds and 15-year-olds, you know. So we say sometimes if we're going to do a campaign that involves email and text, is we may address it to the parents, but it's hard to, if you've got big lists, it's hard to exclude everyone. So we just sometimes will exclude everyone under 25 just so that doesn't happen. And then high spend. So you want to know how many people spend about 1,000, how many spend about 2,000, how many spend about 3,000, etc. And then, because here's what's going to happen. My fear for everyone on this call is, I can see it already. Light bulbs are going to go off. My fear is capacity. So I know you know that you should be doing this stuff. I know you know that. But my fear for you is, from a capacity perspective, is what can you pull off? How many phone calls can you actually make? I'm going to tell you what our plan is in a moment. Today my team, in the last 24 hours, over 1,000 phone calls, by the way, the last 24 hours, right? So it's important that you listen to this section. But for you, for your smaller team, you may actually realize that you're not going to be able to cope. I just want to unshare that for one moment, because I think my earpods are going. Oh no, cool. Earpods. Okay, 10%. I'm good. So you may want to right now be getting those lists together. I highly recommend you getting those lists together right now, because you may not even know when you're going to use it, but you're going to use them shortly. Next. So first of all, message to market to media match. Next, list segmentation. These are all stuff you can be doing this. Even if you're closed, you're going to be doing this stuff. It's actually a blessing. You probably won't do this stuff if you're operational. Now's the time. Next is behavioral segmentation. So here we go. This is the first time a lot of you have done this. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of my campaign. Here's the campaign. Okay, that's going to look like gibberish to a lot of you, but we teach this to our circle members. We teach this in New Patient Avalanche. So here is, and actually I'm just going to do the campaign. We have a done for you service. I'm just going to do the campaign for a lot of my agency clients, and then my inner circle members get the entire campaign. We just give them every single piece of copy, every single email, every single text, etc. My advantage is I'm in the game. I just give everyone everything I do, because I've got to do this stuff too. So here's the sequence. Have a look with me. Follow with me, guys. So here's an email sequence. Within that, if you look at the bottom, if I clicked on that, that's what this would look like at the bottom here. A whole email. So it's like email there, email there. This is actually the coronavirus campaign, if you will, to reactivate people who haven't been in for a while, who are high spend or loyal patients, right? But they haven't been in for a little while. So we've got email. And here's where it gets really clever. When I say behavioral segmentation, I mean this. I want to know the most important question you can ask in the job of getting more from less, meaning right now, our new patients are going to dry up a little bit for external sources for a little while. So this is the most important question you can ask. Now that they've done this, what do I do next? Now that I've done this, what do I do next? That is the most important question you can possibly ask in increasing customer monetization from your current list. So in that light, even in a reactivation campaign, this is the conversation. I sit down with my head of marketing, Jack, who all my inner circle members get access to, and Dan, who does all our Facebook ads, and Alex, who does all our Facebook ads. They get access to all of these. And here's the thing, is all those people, when they click on the email, we get notified. When they watch a video, we get notified. When they click on a link, we get notified. Look how clever this is. If they click on a link, if they open the email, we've got a text that's tagged specifically to go through to the customer, to the patient over time, just kind of reinforcing. It's just hey, by the way, I don't know if you saw our email, just get in touch with anything we can do to serve you. So it's just another notification. But here's what's important is if you send your entire text marketing is going to be very important in the next few weeks, because it's going to be hard to get hold of people. So the thing about text marketing you have to be careful of is people find it very invasive if you just text the whole database, right? I hope you're with me here, guys. This is gold. This is for a lot of you, this is a six-figure event, a six-figure change in your marketing. Is understanding that once they've engaged with your content and now you send a text, it's a little bit different, right? Now, those of you in America and other places, you've got to be careful with your DNC lists and stuff like that. Just watch those, but you absolutely should be doing this stuff, okay? Other than that, once they go, and I'll show you examples of emails in a moment. I'm going to give you this data. I'm going to give it all to you. But once you do that, once you said there's a good email structure you should follow, I'm going to teach it in a moment. But you should always have a couple things in emails. You should often have buttons. You should have links. You have things like that. But when they click on the link, each lead will be there on the right. Each lead or someone that says they're interested will be put into a call task for my core team, right? Right now, we've just doubled up on that. Once they click on the link, they also go to a thank you page. Now, listen to how clever this is. The thank you page, once they land on the thank you page, which is a website essentially, that triggers off another text to go, thank you so much. I'm just reinforcing. We're going to get in touch shortly. That's all it says. But it goes deeper. So now that they've done this, now do this, right? So that's the whole, this is an example of going deeper with your campaigns. Where does the text, where they click on it, it just goes to a thank you page. It says someone will be in touch. And here's what I want, this alone will save a lot of you. This alone will save a lot of you. So when someone opts, this is true for all your marketing, not just this. And this is why some of you mess up with your Facebook ads. If somebody says they want something from you and you need to call to book them in, if you do not phone within 5 minutes, this is the effect it has on you. The rule is, the statistic from studies, I'll show you now. Phoning someone within 5 minutes of them saying they want something or opting into something, you have literally a percentage of 100 times more likely to ever get in touch with them. 5 minutes, within 5 minutes. If you wait 24 hours, they're probably dead already. When I say the lead is cold, that the lead's gone. That's what happens when you wait too long, right? So within 5 minutes of anything. So why I'm teaching you this is don't send the email campaign out without having thought to how you're going to respond quickly to the people that show they're interested. Are you guys with me? You guys learning something? Hello? Give me a hand up. Thank you. Andy, thank you. Give me, I've got to know something here. And you can see just down the road. Here's another statistic. This is a conference I went to in America. Some of you might have been to it, TNC in San Diego with Ryan Dice. But this is literally from my iPhone. I took this photo. The impact of speed to call on lead conversion. If you phone within 1 minute, there's a 391% chance of that conversion going through, right? To whatever the conversion is, a sale in any business or whatever. If you phone within 2 minutes, look at the drop from 390 in 2 minutes, 160. So this is heartbreaking to watch, right? But I'd rather be the bearer of the truth so that you can bet. If you double your speed of contacting them, then I've saved you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Just by this one slide, I've saved you thousands of dollars. So have a look at this. 3 minutes, 30 minutes, look at the drop from 390%. If you phone someone for 1 minute, you got them, right? It just shows that you're on it as a business. If you phone someone within 24 hours, if you don't phone, if there are leads sitting on your database that people have said they want appointments and things like that, and you're not phoning within 24 hours, you may as well stop phoning them. I've learned this the hard way. I have easily wasted 250 more, $500,000 easily just on this one mistake. Easily wasted. So was that helpful to see that, guys? Helpful? I'm not moving on to you. Give me some love. Give me a hand up or something. Is that helpful? Is that helpful? Is that helpful? Good job. So understanding the fundamentals of making these campaigns work, that's behavioral segmentation. Next is specific offers and follow-up. And that's, I've kind of covered that already, but just understand that one of my inner circle members did the most brilliant campaign recently. And those of you know, actually, I haven't got the permission to mention their name, but they just did I just want to give them a huge kudos here. They had direct marketing going out and they had scratch cards made. And for instance, similar to what I've just said, if somebody had spent £3,000 or dollars in the practice, all those people got scratch cards. And when they scratched the scratch card, it said the offer was coming for your free catch up or whatever. If they spent under $1,000, the offer was slightly less, like as an affinity or hot lead. For those people that come in, you get 50% off or whatever it is. So again, specific message or offer to market match. That's going to be very important in the coming months. By the way, if you've got a list of everyone that's referred, referrers are referrers. You could do a campaign right now, sending all those people in these times. The people that referred to you in the past are going to keep on referring to you. So you can anticipate that and edge that along simply by going, hey, I know you've supported me so much in the past. I just want to say thank you so much. Here's an appointment on me to say in these trying times or challenging times, we really think it's important to give back to our communities. This is the script, by the way, or the direct or the copy. And also, here are 10 vouchers or 5 vouchers for your loved ones to come in and see us over this period. Because right now, people should be focusing on their health more than ever. So really, that's easy to do that. Now, here's the one that will make most of you, this is like secret stuff I give to my inner circle members, secret stuff. The reason I'm so successful at our marketing campaigns is not always because I'm the best at any one of them. It's simply because I do this next step. And that is multi-step multimedia. Whatever you do now, whatever you send to your patients, whatever do, I want everyone on this call. This is the only thing you get from this. It's a 6-figure tip. Don't be okay with one media or one step. So always multi-step, multiple emails. Always multiple media. So have a look there. If you just make sure you do this. If you're going to send emails, don't just send emails. They must get an email. They must get a text. They must get, not everyone in the list has to get a text, but you know what I mean. They must get something of print for a certain segment. And you could even, I don't know if you guys knew this is possible, but when someone opens an email, you can even trigger off something called a pixel that then starts showing them certain stuff in their Facebook feed. So that's another media. It's just a media, right? Those of you that want to find out more how to do this stuff, just get in touch with us or whatever like that, and we can help you. But multi-step, multimedia. So it's the only thing, if you never see me again, if you never do anything with me ever again, but you just do that, instead of, you were going to send an email campaign out to everyone, and you just go, that bald guy said, don't just do that. At least send something in the post to someone, to a certain segment who've spent above a certain amount. And that's why I talked about the 80-20 rule. It's not that, because it gets a bit expensive. You have to send the whole database. It's not that you have to do it to everyone, but you certainly can do that to a segment. And it's going to make the world of difference to your campaigns. An email, a text to certain segments, behavioral or something that's done within the campaign, or buying behavior, or print, text, and email, and something on social media will make a huge difference. So let me give you an example. This is this is one of our print things we sent out as part of one of our campaigns. I want to show you something like that just very quickly. So right now, I believe it's more important than ever to be upskilling on the following skills: email marketing, you've got to know how to do it; outbound telemarketing. Those of you in Spain and places like that, if we have to shut all our shops, we will absolutely be turning into a telemarketing business. And what that means is I will just be phoning people and saying, and here's the greatest script of all time, by the way. You always want to do outbound calls on the back of doing something first. Why? Because the opening line is very easy. The opening line is, I just occurs to call to see if you got my email, text, letter. That's all it is. And that's going to be very important for those in Spain and places like that right now. You absolutely want to be doing that right now and simply sending something in the post or something in the email first, and then the phone calls are going out going, hey, I want to see if you got my whatever, and they're probably offering it, and then they normally finish it. But that's the best opening I'll ever give you of any script of all time. Outbound telemarketing or telesales or anything always needs to happen on the back, in my experience, because I've never run a telemarketing company, right? So in my experience, it always works better on the back of something first to phone and then go, hey, I just a courtesy call to see if you got our whatever, and if you have any questions. Next, text marketing is going to become very important. Statistically, reaching a customer by text is like at least 100, it's massive percentage higher. I don't have the exact percentage. So two-way text systems, there are loads of them. Go check that out now. One I can tell you all about right now is Fix Your Funnel. I think it's called Fix Your Funnel. There's a two-way text system, right? Those of you, there's loads of stuff in America as well, Scared and things like that. Two-way text system, very important right now because it's going to be hard to get hold of the database to lost information first. So you really want to be, most of my inner circle members have started YouTube channels. We've all started videos in our Facebook group, whatever. I just want to say this. In the beginning, we've come into a world that if you want to be an expert in your area or know your area, the person that does the most quantity over quality right in the beginning is the key to winning on social media. It's quantity over, because in the beginning, why I teach that is, in the beginning, you're going to suck at it. Like, your first videos are going to suck. Like, so don't think, if you're going to plan the whole video for months and months and months before you put it out, you're never going to put it out. So in the beginning, it's quantity over quality, right? You want to measure your stats, and you want to be upskilling on social media right now. And you also want to be looking at online bridges. Online bridges are free reports online and things like that. So every single day, people download free reports on my website. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Another tip for you on this, if you've got your prices on your website, you should take it off tomorrow. The price in normal circumstances. Prices on the website, you should never put prices on the website, because you're just competing with people shop around, right? Because of Amazon. So you don't want to compete with that. We have a button on our website that says cost inquiry. They're going to put their details in. Now I've got their details and I can give them all the costs, but we never have prices on our websites, okay? Trust me. Trust me. I've been doing this for a while. So I just want to give you a few tips for email marketing. Are you still with me? Are you still learning something? Yes? You guys want me to continue? I'm going to give you all the tips right now. Give me a hand up. I'm not continuing until I get almost everyone on. Good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. Okay, here's a go. Tips for email marketing. I couldn't teach without giving this to you, because I truly believe this is the thing. For a lot of you, this is all you can do. So I'm going to give this to you. So email copy template. Here's the easiest template I'll ever give you of all time. Just copy me. I promise you, just copy this. It works. Number one, you've got to have a killer subject line. Number two, use personalization and personality. Emails with include personalization, i.e., let me give you an example. In the subject line, it might say, coronavirus update, Ryan. That's personalization in the email. Have up to a 75% higher open rate. You want to use bullet points. You want to use bullet points, okay? You want to use subheadings. You want to use lots of PSs. This is going to surprise a lot of you on the call, but it's been statistically proven that some people skip the entire email altogether and go straight to the PSs. So in the PSs, I've seen emails with 15 PSs. You must at least have 2 or 3. And sometimes in the PSs of the email, you put the offers or you put the telephone number. So these are basic copywriting tips for email. But in this day and age, you just need to know the basics. I know that you're chiropractors. You're never going to be, or most of you are not going to be copywriting experts. But if I give you a template to copy, I promise you're going to do well. You better. And then people just can't resist buttons in emails. So curiosity just gets the better of them. So let me give you some examples. Here we go, guys. Here's some examples. So have a look. Everything I'm teaching you. There's personalization. The guy's name is there, Jack. That's been mail merged. There's PSs. There's a thing. There's the button. Next one. That was a Easter campaign. Here's another one. Easter campaign. Look, the personalization there. Yeah, he's a Jack, right? Then we've got links. Then we've got bullet points. Those are bullet points, if you will. Bullet points, numbers. There's a book now. Same thing. I'm just telling you what we do. I'm just going to teach you exactly what we do. Here's other personalized reactivation campaign. So, for instance, there was someone who. So this was taking a new chiropractor coming. This is a program called Write Down Pick Snippets, where they can hold a piece of paper and then they can mail merge someone's name in there. So remember, videos and emails and things like that get open more. Here's the stats for this. There's a small list, just a small list of people that were. This is a message to market match. Small list, 415 emails sent, 238 people. That's over 50% opened it, and 126 patients said yes, I'd like to come in on the button. So again, basic campaign, just following the emails, the structure I just taught you. Here's something called a Seinfeld email that I learned from Russell Brunson. You should all be, if all you did for the next 30 days is every second day, write them an email about what's happening in your life, how you're responding to self-isolation, how you're exercising, etc. And you just vomited stuff on an email that was just personal and your life, and then put a few buttons in there, book your free assessment. We'll be back now. I promise you'll do well. So that's another example, buttons in there, etc. Cool. So I'm going to send each and every one of you that are on the call right now. I've got some bonuses for you. I'm going to send you this copywriting cheat sheet. I normally give these only to my people that have done my New Patient Avalanche program, but I'm going to send this to you. How many of you would appreciate it? How many like that? Is that okay? Did I send this to you? Pretty cool? Awesome. I'm just saying, use it, don't use it, whatever you want to do, I don't really care. But I'm telling you, I've put examples of subject lines that we've used. I've put examples of emails. I put examples of PSs. I put examples. It's the basic copywriting. I'm going to send this to you guys and use it if you like. And my only intention for you is that I help you in some way, shape, or form get through this challenging period, and that's hopefully helpful. Some of you might want to reach out to me right now about further help or more in-depth help. I'm going to tell you about that in a moment, okay? So, new customer acquisition. Many of our new customer acquisition can be taken away from us. Now is the time to sharpen the saw. Now is the time to be learning how to get online presence, email marketing, all those things you maybe don't know. I've got a book you can buy. It's a free book, and all you pay for is the shipping. You can do that if you want to do. Those who want to do new page avalanche, I'm going to tell you about that now, right? Or something. If you want to take it further, I've got options for you, but I don't care who you do it with. I don't care if you never do it with me. Just grab my free book of what you do. But certainly get the information from someone. Certainly get the information from someone. Next, I should make sure you can all hear me. Next, I want to tell you about, don't forget about these, because while you're going to be mining your database, doing stuff you can, phoning patients, you're also going to be preparing to get back to normal stuff. So here's my formula we teach on New Patient Avalanche. It's community events, screenings, things like that. They're important. If you're a bricks and mortar business and you don't feel that going to the community is something you need to do, you're very delusional. You don't have to do it, but we want multiple forms of income, you should be doing it. Next, talks. We have 3 strategies: in-house talks, corporate talks, or lunch and learns, and dinner with the doc talks. That's what we teach in New Patient Avalanche, one of our strategies. Next, we have 4 key strategies in New Patient Avalanche. Next is social media strategies, lead generation, or driving people to health talks from Facebook, or one-touch campaigns, 2-touch campaigns, remarketing campaigns, etc. Basic thing, you should all at least have a pixel on your website, so when people land on the website, they start seeing your stuff or testimonials on their Facebook feed. That's basic stuff we teach. Next is event-based marketing or holiday campaigns. Basically, what I've just taught you from a perspective of emails going out around an event. That's event-based marketing. Coronavirus. There is, as Jay Abraham says now, there are ethical opportunities right now and things that you have to do for survival. A lot of you to make the most of the opportunities you've got in front of you. It's all you can do. Okay, so this is an example of one of our lunch and learns. Slip that in there to show you. We do these all the time, up to 10 a week sometimes. By the way, I also run a 2-day event on how to first put people in the room, either getting companies or put people in the room from Facebook. I also teach you how to talk. I actually teach you how to convert the room. I also teach you how to market. So just go to my website, find out more about that if you want that. I've got an event coming up. I had to cancel a fully booked event in Dallas now. And I've got Barcelona coming up. I'm almost fully booked for Windsor. And I think I'm going to have another event in Dallas coming up in August. So please go to my website or inquire with my team. I can teach you about that. It's a great event. Cool. So was that helpful? Was that helpful, everyone? So a question from Katie is, what do you think the best thing is for generating new patients during this time? Unfortunately, from time perspective, I'm just starting my own practice. I did have other sources of income from locum jobs. However, that has also been canceled due to travel. So, Katie, I actually think it's a blessing in disguise that the locum jobs have gone away. I'll tell you why. Nothing focuses the mind like having no plan B. So if you just open your own practice, I promise you're going to look back and it's a blessing. There's an adage of burn the ships. Now you have to make it work. And you will make it work. So for me, Katie, running your practice right now, I would absolutely start doing some social media. It's all about preparing for when you can do, if you've got no list, I would also be looking at other opportunities with other local businesses. Never ever has it been a better time to look for opportunities with other businesses. And you could absolutely be reaching out to other businesses now and saying, hey, when we launch again, or when we launch, maybe we could share, maybe I can offer your services as part of a package, as like a special. It could be a massage therapist down the road, could be a gym owner, could be a PT, could be a gym. to go, listen, can I give every one of my new patients a week or a week free to the gym, etc., to stack opportunities? If you send the same offer, I'll give everyone a half price a session or whatever to all your list. There'll be great opportunities to do joint ventures right now, right? So that's another question. Lucinda asked, did I say every 2 days for 30 days to send something about my personal life for emails? Dan, so if you read a book from Russell Brunson called, I think it's called Traffic Secrets or something like that. And it talks about how a concept of a Seinfeld email. And the reality is that people are way more interested in your life than you may think. And here's some examples. What happened to you yesterday was good. What challenges did you have? What challenges do you have with your family? What happened good with your family? What blessings do you have for your family? What restaurant did you eat at the last week that you loved? You want to tell people about it and why you loved it and turn that into a lesson. That type of stuff gets read and watched. And I have some of my inner circle members who send the most beautiful emails every single week, at least 2-3 times a week. And it's just, could be that big, but it's just an update. So I'm saying that in this period, if you wanted to send an email every 2 days to your list, telling them about how to stay healthy at home, I think that'd be totally appropriate because it's just serving your list, and just put a little bit of a link at the bottom to say, if you need anything, click on the link and we can help you. That would be super handy. So that's the first thing I'd say to you. Yes, you could send every 2 days. You could send every day as part. Some of my inner circle members are doing that as part of like a theme for the next 30 days. How to be healthy at home. Mark, Duggan, are phone calls and text messages better for bring-ups at this time? Hopefully I answered that one, Mark. Yes, I think phone calls and text messages are going to be essential at this time, mostly because to reactivate people. Phone calls are always better off the back of something, an email, something in the post, something like that. They're always better off the back of those. So the script is, Mark, simply you want to put yourself in a position, because here's the key thing. Like, none of us are expert telemarketers, right? Like, none of us are trained expert telemarketers. None of us are hired expert telemarketers. So I want to set yourself up for a position where whoever's making the phone call can simply ask this question. Hey, this is just a courtesy call to see if you got the email, text thing in the post. Then follow up by, do you have any questions? And then they'll often lead you what more about it. And the minute they're asking questions, that means they're engaged and they're interested, for instance. And then you're able to go, quite assumptive, when is good to get you booked. So that is a basic script for you. Brian. Okay. So Brian, in the text, Brian asked, what do you write in the text? So in the text, again, you can make reference to something already said, but keep it really, really open-ended. Is like, most of the time, again, because it's quite intrusive a text, I like to make texts based on something, not just make offers. I like to make a text about, like, hey, just a courtesy text to see if you got the email, or hey, it's a courtesy text if you saw what we're doing at the moment to support our communities, ? Now I want a response. So what people do wrong with text marketing is they think they can send a broadcast and it's an offer and people are going to do it. During this phase, the conversation is key. The conversation is key. The companies that are prepared to go deeper with the conversation are going to win. For instance, I want open-ended questions. Respond. It takes time, it takes commitment, but the conversation is key at the moment. If you have any other questions, please send an email to info@dcpracticegrowth.com. If there's any way I can serve you or help you, I mean this right now. I'll do my best to get back to your queries, but just bear with me. I've got a lot of queries at the moment. That's it. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Love and appreciate you guys. Hope you learned something. Brian Solovsky, thank you for joining. I'll see if I can mention so many names here. Those who are joining. Alana, Alistair, and Alessandro, Alex, Alison, Amelia, Anna, Andrea, Ashwood, Andrea Sinclair, Andrew Tuckbox, Andrew Kurt, Andy Kurt, Angus, thank you so much for coming. Anna Garson, thank you much for coming. Ariadna, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Arlene, Audrey, Belen, Bill Parker, Brian McElroy, Brian Celeste. I can't go to everyone. I'm on your bees. But love and appreciate you guys. We'll go right to the end. Who's Eddie McLeod? Thank you for joining. Tom Lawrence, thank you for joining. Love and appreciate you guys. If you guys want to find about my inner circle group, that's fine too. Or any of my programs coming up, go to dcpracticegrowth.com. dcpracticegrowth.com. Free book on there if you want. Subscribe to my YouTube channel also. Hopefully you get free information for that. But please make sure you subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, to my YouTube channel. And go to the web. If you haven't read my new Patient Overlast book, just go to the website and it's free. You just pay for shipping. So I think shipping is like $7 or something. It was ever time to spend $7 to grow. It's now. So I love and appreciate you guys and see you soon.